Anyone remember what they were doing in the summer of 2007? I do, vividly. I was watching the economy with a sense of impending doom. Just a few short months later, the UK was in the grip of the deepest recession since the Second World War, and we're still feeling the effects of it today. Public spending was slashed in the aftermath, wages still haven't recovered, and the worst thing is, because of the damage that the coronavirus has caused, we'll be plunged into another recession. Don't worry, today's Ask Shaf is going to help you focus your mind on how to budget when the recession bites. Let's rewind and have a quick history lesson about the last recession. In July and August of 2007, our seemingly strong banking sector began to wobble. The stock market was volatile and the banks stopped lending to each other. They were terrified of exposure to losses on the US subprime mortgage market. The credit crunch had begun, and before long, banks on this side and the other side of the Atlantic were feeling the effects. Northern Rock, Lehman Brothers, Bradford and Bingley were all household names that fell by the wayside or had to be bailed out by their governments. Much of 2008 and 2009 was spent in full-blown recession. In the UK, unemployment rose to a whopping 8.3%. That was 2.63 million people whose lives were turned upside down. Global events mean that the likelihood is we're heading for another recession. Coronavirus, Brexit, a slowing US economy, and the Chinese debt crisis is unfortunately the perfect storm for economic uncertainty. For businesses and in personal finance, the key thing is knowing what you're dealing with. This means knowing your finances inside out. The only way to do that is to go through your finances with a fine-tooth comb. Start with your take-home salary and take away everything you spend money on every month. So your mortgage or rent, bills, foods, and all your direct debits and standing orders. You should still have enough left over to try to save some, pay off your debt, and stick some in a pension fund. Once you have your budget, you need to stick to it. That's the hard part. Of course, there are things you can do to make your money go further. Modify your lifestyle and cut back on unnecessary expenses. For example, if you're worried about the prospect of losing your job, it would be foolish to press ahead with that extension you want. Postpone it until things look rosier. Been planning a month-long trip to Australia to see family? Bad idea if your income is getting squeezed. Of course, there are things you can do to add to your monthly budget which might give you a bit of breathing space in a recession. The most obvious one is ask for a pay rise. If your firm is watching its expenditure, you might not be successful, but it's always worth asking the question. Ensure you argue why you're worth it. The other option is look for a better job. Sure, there might not be the same number of opportunities available in a recession, but there will always be some. Keep your eyes and ears open and don't be scared of jumping ship in a recession. Do you have skills that you can make extra money from? The internet has opened up a whole new online marketplace for selling, so take advantage of it. Would you consider joining the gig economy for some extra cash? The thought of another recession might seem scary, but we will get through it. Sticking to a budget is the best thing you can do. Yes, it's boring, but it'll mean you can escape relatively unscathed if your income remains fairly constant. Don't forget to sign up to my free YouTube channel, and if you have anything you want to see covered in Ask Shaf, you know what to do. That's right, just ask me.